World 16 is finally coming to Guardian Tales and I cannot wait to cover it up this Thursday. There will be also a brand new hero, so stay tuned for that. But for today, Plitvice has a new weapon, but who is worth your gems on this banner? Before getting started, here you go. This is 2 coupon codes, 5 summon controllers each, only for Asia servers, courtesy of Kakao Games for being an official content creator. As usual, first come, first served, so once you redeemed the code, please let us know in my pinned comment below, then everyone knows it's not available anymore. Today, I'm going to share my recommendation for beginners and mid-game players about who is worth and who is not in between Clara, Lucy, Plitvice and Vishuvac. And if I made any mistakes or if you have a different experience or opinion about the order of priority and tier list ranking today, please share it with us in the comment section below. I already posted a detailed video for all of them, Clara, Vishuvac and our 2 weapons with overall utility ranking cards, so I will put the links below if you want to check them out in details. For today, it's going to be a very hard pick between a lot of them because they do have strong incentive in similar content depending on your needs, and both Plitvice and Vishuvac have 2 different weapons. So for the short reviews, let's get started with Vishuvac. Here, Vishuvac on the left is her original build as a HP leader melee unit with the volcanic on weapon, and on the right is her latest skill damage party buffer version with the latest volcanic core weapon that transforms her into a ranged unit. To make it short here, the original HP party buffer version of Vishuvac remains a decent close combat melee unit with AoE damage and fits better in tanky formation in PvP with a defense party buffer for example, and can be used at best to boost the attack and HP to the mono-fire type of team compositions, especially in PvE. However, the volcanic core version is a much more offensive and versatile option across all the content, focusing on single target damage with long-range fireball, making Vishuvac a more aggressive and damage-based version while remaining a great mono-fire support with a party buff. Here you can see she has 25% fire attack party buff on top of being a 45% skill damage party buffer, and also she can lower down enemy defense on chain skill, recovering a little bit of your team HP on her normal attacks to balance her lack of HP buff. So overall, the latest version here, it's a much stronger single target unit. It has been used way more than the original version, especially for the reds. Next is the Bonchide Clara. So Clara is a range fire unit with a 50% range damage party buff, with a very straightforward skill set built around fast attacks with long range, great damage and mobility. Her normal attack can fire AoE damage with piercing flame arrows, and her weapon skill, the Burnout, release the flame and increase her attack by 30% for 4 seconds. Her chain skill is one of my favorite animations in the game. This is the Meteor Swarm that deals 330% of DPS. You love to see it, make it rain. And her special ability, Blessing Void, will increase her movement speed and defense by 20% for 3 seconds and increase the damage of her normal attack by 20%. Finally, her exclusive weapon will allow her to fire 3 arrows instead of 1 at the end of a normal attack rotation. So the Bonchide Clara is a very solid unit in every content and a very strong range party buffer for any needs you might have. Her swift attacks, the long range, the mobility makes her a very strong unit in PvP as well, where she's still rocking in the top tier ranking. And by the way, a lot of you were asking, how can I get access to some region, some game on Asia servers, or sometime in North America, or sometime getting access to Korean games? Well, I'm using NordVPN for about 6 years, so it was time. This is not sponsored at all, this is just a brand affiliate. You can find the link in the description below. I've been using it, as I mentioned, for about 6 years at home, on my mobile, while traveling, because it's fast, it's secure, it protects my data, it encrypts all my password. I can travel out there without getting worried about anything. Currently, right now, they have 2 years for 63% off. So they sent me that special link. You can find the description below if you want to. By far, this is the best VPN you can find out there. The connection speed is just that great, as you can see on my videos. Also, they have more servers than anyone on the platform, and overall for streaming also as well, it's perfect for me. Malware protection, and most importantly, with one account I can share it with 6 devices. So my family, my wife's, we are sharing this, so it's a really worthy offer, and feel free to check it out. Next is the Trickster Lucy. So not sure if the Trickster has to be introduced anymore, but Lucy is a fire unit critical hit chance party buffer who has been such an amazing addition to so many red teams, in which players are just switching a weapon for the different elemental bosses and needs. So for example, you can see her with the water team, red team, range team, with Andra's formation with Nari and Vishuvac, but also with the old school Garam leader, Oka, Nari, Lucy, it works well. And also, just as a leader, she can do some work, of course, with the fire range. For example, you put Nari, you put the latest Vishuvac we just spoke about with the second weapon, and you can put Elvira in it, and you are doing great damage too. And even if her kit is a very simple one, as you can see here on the screen, it synergizes perfectly well. She's a critical hit chance party buffer, helping your team to deal more critical hit chance, and she can increase allies' critical hit multiplier by 100% for 6 seconds on the Shen skill. On the top of it, on the special ability, she can increase her own moving speed by 25% for 4 seconds, and her critical hit multiplier increases by 50%. So if you are crafty enough on big arena maps, you can run around because she does not have a lot of sustain. And finally, for the exclusive weapon, she can have some additional DPS, 30% with 40% chance, but most importantly, when she uses the Royal Straight Flush, she can increase her defense by 30% for 3 seconds, so it helps you a little bit on PvP. However, she doesn't have, as you can see, a lot of sustain in her kit, practically nothing, and she's on the squishy side. And as I mentioned, she remains the most versatile to me in terms of range team. She can fit in so many teams, helping your team to really improve the damage, and she can use so many weapons. I mean, you can use the Witch Art for the water if you want to, the Sunshine Staff for the fire. I mean, there is so many, the Amarok, the Epic Staff, if you put her in a dark attack, or even, the Angel Voice, if you want to, for a basic team, and much more. So a very versatile option for your reds and range team. And finally, this will be the short review of Plitvice. So the original version, you can get her for free. If you're beginners, you will unlock her later on your island. Also, a first exclusive weapon, in which she's a fire melee attack party buffer, and she has been used and still used in the Ray team. So Ray, we just reviewed her, she was on the banner not so long ago, which has become really the must and the best for the leaders, for the fire melee team, for the Reds. But she's still been used. I've seen some team with Lean and Yuzi and Red Leader and Plitvice, and also some other team with Scintilla and with Akayuki into it for a more budget friendly build. But overall, she's just, yes, not as great, of course, as Ray, for example, in terms of overall use in the game. So she lost a little bit of fame, but a great option for beginners in her original version for the Reds, as a support, of course, for the fire team. Now let's talk about the new version with the Halo weapon. So here she become a ranged unit. So please let me know what do you think about it, because I think it's another option. It doesn't delay what she was originally, but as a goddess of war, and so many people was looking to use her as a melee hero, and now they are switching, the melee hero into ranged, so everything's become more range and range. So let me know what do you think in the comment section below about that move that we are seeing more and more from Cacao Games and Guardian Tales. However, to make it short here, she became a critical hit multiplier plus 100%, skill damage plus 15%. So once again, a strong incentive to your Reds. I'm going to make it short for the skills. She can throw blades, and once you have blades, you can put up to 4 blades for each attack, and after you have the weapon skill, which is burst, and you control the separate blade pieces to inflict ranged damage to enemies. So on the chain skill, you drop a giant sword to inflict 350% of DPS as ranged damage around the target. This one is quite fast to compare to the normal attack, which I find slightly on the slow side. But you can decrease the fire type resistance by 30% for 5 seconds. So once again, she remains a fire incentive unit. And for the special ability, when the burst is at max overlap, so once you put your 4 damage, your 4 blades onto your opponent, you can inflict additional 150% of DPS as range damage. And based on the number of blade pieces, the critical hit chance will increase by 10% and up to a maximum of 40%. Now, this is wonderful because this is really, once again, once you have critical hit multiplier, you want a high critical hit chance. Lucy, for example, brings it in the meaning of, with the party buff, automatically your team has a solid 40% critical hit chance. The issue with the Plitvice here is this is only for her, which is kind of sad and gonna push you to put another critical hit chance party buffer into the team. It would have been just probably broken if it was for the whole team. But this effect applies based on the target with the most overlap effects. So it's better, once again, if you are playing against one opponent, for example for the Reds, and I think she's absolutely designed just for the Reds, because so far after 2 weeks out I haven't seen her nowhere to be seen in PvP or whatsoever. So really another, I will say here, a new weapon that helps player to use old units for the Reds team. And it's time now for my recommendation for beginners and mid-game players, and I will only refer to Vishuvac and Plitvice with a second weapons for this ranking, because to me they are just a better version overall. So here, for the 4th and 3rd position, I will put both Plitvice and Vishuvac together. They are great, fantastic unit for the fire ranged nowadays. I think they could synergize pretty well together. Plitvice, once again, is a free hero you can get, so you can just go for the weapon if you like to. Overall, I think the animation also with those chains are awesome and remind me of God of War. With the super costume, I will probably try one pull on the X just for the fan services here. But yeah, both of them, I put them together. And then on the second spot, I will put Lucy. So once again, I believe Lucy is much more versatile because both Plitvice and Vishuvac, it's slightly better, of course. They have this fire incentive. They can decrease the type resistance, increase the attack for the fire units. So Lucy is much more versatile for your range team. She can be switched all around, as I mentioned in the video. You just need to change your weapon and this is done. And she has been amazing in the Reds. She's a very cheap, I would say, solution, in the meaning of you can switch her later on depending on your needs. Way more flexible. And number 1, it will be Clara. Clara, because among them all, Clara, I mean, in the Red is not optimal at all. But in anywhere else, she is doing, of course, a much better job, especially in PvP, but also for your story, your PvE. She's just a strong ranged party buffer for any needs you might have for your ranged team, and her swift attacks and mobility makes her strong in PvP, where she still rocks in the top tier. Thank you so much for watching. And kind reminder before to close this video, save your gems. The World 16 is coming, as I mentioned earlier in the video, and there will be a new hero. So until Thursday, I will recommend first you save your gem, because this ongoing banner with Plitvice, honestly, it's not a must, especially for beginners here. Those are great units, but I believe there are much better units to invest with for your first early game and mid game. Reds is quite end game in my opinion. So save your gems, wait until Thursday, and don't forget to destroy that like button and hit that bell if you want to support the channel. Also, I do always post in the community channel, if you are subscribed, the latest banner to help you up every Thursday if there is no new hero. Like for now, I posted immediately 2 weeks ago, then you know if it's worth or not to save your gem on each and every banner. As usual, I wish you all to be safe, to be well, and until the next, stay tuned, Guardians.